My brothers and sisters, welcome to episode number 14 in the book of John. Today is the Lord saw me and I didn't know it. So yesterday, Andrew brought his brother Simon to Jesus, and Jesus looked at him and suddenly said, "You're Peter, you're the rock." And we've talked about the audacity of the naming rights. Today's story is even more audacious, more in your face. This is from John chapter 1. We're going to start in verse 43. The next day, Jesus decided to go to Galilee. He found Philip and said to him, "Follow me." Now, Philip was from Bethsaida, and the city of Andrew and Peter. Philip found Nathanael and said to him, "We have found him of whom Moses said in the law and also in the prophets wrote, Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph." And Nathanael, our star for today, said to him, "Can anything good come out of Nazareth?" Philip said, "Come and see." All right, so that's kind of the setup for the story today. So Philip gets the call to follow Jesus, and in explaining it to Nathanael, he goes all Old Testament. He refers to basically the whole Old Testament Bible by saying this is Moses and the law and the prophets, kind of a term for the Old Testament. So he's saying this is the guy that the Old Testament has been pointing to, Jesus, the son of Joseph. He kind of tells him where this guy came from. So then the story gets more interesting in verse 47. This is where Nathanael story. Verse 47, Jesus saw Nathanael coming toward him and said of him, "Behold, an Israelite indeed, in whom there is no deceit." And Nathanael said to him, "How do you know me?" Jesus answered him, "Before Philip called you," and he gives his divine vision here now, "when you were under the fig tree, I saw you." Nathanael answered him, "Rabbi, you are the Son of God, you are the King of Israel." He makes this incredible profession of faith. Jesus answered him, "Because I said to you, I saw you under the fig tree, do you believe? You will see greater things than these." And he said to him, "Truly, truly, you will see heaven opened and the angels of God ascending and descending on the Son of Man." So Jesus declares this bit of spiritual insight, supernatural knowledge of his location. I saw you under the fig tree. And also there's something else about what was going on under the fig tree. Was Nathanael, it doesn't specifically say, so we can only speculate, but what was Nathanael doing? Was he thinking about the Messiah? Was he praying to the Messiah? He's proclaimed as an Israelite indeed, in whom there's no deceit. Jesus says, I saw your physical location, but I also saw other stuff. I saw your motivations. I saw your thoughts, your intents, your distractions. I saw you in a place and a time in some sort of a spiritual posture. This Israelite is a positive term for a follower of God. And there's no deceit. Now, Jacob, Old Testament guy, was known, Jacob means deceiver. He was known as a deceiver. And here, Nathanael truly seeks. Did he pray, "Show me your ways, Lord, show me your glory"? So I think he's saying, don't let today go by without revealing yourself to me. I think that may be what Nathanael was saying. All right, Nathanael proclaims Jesus as Rabbi and Son of God. Now, Psalm 2 designates the Christ as Messiah, as Anointed One, as Son. So these are all synonymous terms: Christ, Messiah, Anointed One, and today now, Son. So Nathanael is confessing and believing that Jesus is the Christ. This has been a little bit of a theme through John chapter 1 so far here. So remember, Christ is the office or the role that he occupies. What he's saying is, the one we've been waiting for, we don't have to wait anymore because he's here. The promised one is present. It's like all that stuff in the Old Testament. Now we turn the page in the New Testament. So I've gone from waiting, which is what they've been doing for thousands of years, to now we're witnessing of this. We're watching it. So this anticipation has finally become actualization. It's a mind shift of one who was to come and now to one who is here. You are King of Israel. Another reference to the Messiah. And it's this great confession of faith and truth and insight. So Nathanael, he really gets religion here. He confesses Jesus as the rightful king, as the divine Messiah. Now, Jesus refers to, at the end of the story, Jacob's ladder. That's from Genesis chapter 28. Jacob has a dream. He sees this ladder and he sees angels descending and descending on it. And here he says, I am the ladder. I am the communication. I am the conduit device of from heaven to earth. So he gives earthly access to this divine realm. So the angels and the communications are sent and ascend and descend on me. I am the ladder, is what Jesus is saying. I am this access point. So I have come essentially to bring heaven to earth. Jacob's response back in the Old Testament was, hey, Eureka, surely the Lord is in this place, and I didn't know it. Now, Jacob and Nathaniel, similarly, I think are saying the same thing. Like, oh my goodness, the Lord is here. The Lord is active. I see it now. I know it now. And the response is, woe is me. How is it that you desire these relationships with us humans, and specifically with this particular human? So let me just draw some conclusions here today. What if we had a ladder up and down to heaven? What if we could communicate up and down? And like Nathaniel, what if God saw us? What if he saw our thoughts and our prayers going up and down to heaven? What would he see with no filters, no barriers, no boundaries? What if God said, hey, I saw you this morning. I see you now. Would he see someone in right standing with God? Well, of course not. And like Nathaniel, it's like, oh, woe is me. Put a coal on my unclean lips. I am undone. You're the boss. I am clay, and you are Lord. So let's just back up and let's be the person who is found, maybe like Nathaniel, a person that's sincerely seeking God. Maybe we could ask God, hopefully like Nathaniel was asking, don't let a day go by without you revealing yourself to me. And maybe, like Jacob, and probably like Nathaniel, I'm using Jacob's words here, maybe we can say at the end of the day, surely the Lord is in this place, and I didn't know it. Thanks for listening.